Welcome back to Soft English Studio. I'm Emma.
And I'm Ryan.
We're happy you're joining us today. Ryan, I was listening to music on my way here, and it made me wonder how much music affects our mood.
That's a great topic. I think music affects me more than I sometimes realize.
I feel the same way. There are days when a single song can completely change how I'm feeling.
I've experienced that too. Sometimes I start the day feeling tired, but the right music gives me more energy.
It's interesting how quickly that can happen.
It really is. We can hear a song for just a few minutes and suddenly feel different.
Do you usually listen to music based on your mood, or does music create your mood?
That's a difficult question. I think both things happen.
What do you mean?
If I'm already feeling relaxed, I often choose calm music. But there are also times when I use music to change how I feel.
I can relate to that. If I'm feeling stressed, I sometimes look for music that helps me slow down and clear my mind.
I've noticed something similar. Music can create a small break from whatever is happening around us.
That's a nice way to describe it.
It doesn't solve every problem, of course, but it can change how we experience a situation.
Looking back, music has been part of many important moments in my life.
Mine too. Certain songs immediately bring back memories from different stages of my life.
That's fascinating, because it shows that music isn't only about sound.
You're right. It often becomes connected to emotions, memories, and experiences.
You mentioned memories, and I think that's one of the most powerful things about music.
I agree. Sometimes a song can take me back to a specific moment almost instantly.
Has that happened to you recently?
Actually, yes. A few days ago, I heard a song I used to listen to during university.
What was that like?
It was strange, in a good way. I suddenly remembered things I hadn't thought about in years.
That's amazing.
What surprised me most was how clearly I remembered the emotions from that time.
I've had similar experiences. It's almost like music stores memories in a different part of our minds.
I never thought about it that way, but I can see why you say that.
Music also seems connected to routines.
How so?
I have certain playlists for different parts of the day. I listen to one type of music while working and another when I'm relaxing.
That's interesting because I do something similar.
Really?
Yes. If I'm trying to focus, I usually choose music without lyrics.
Does it help?
Most of the time, yes. It helps create an environment where I can concentrate more easily.
I've noticed that music can influence not only emotions, but also behavior.
That's a fascinating idea.
And I have a feeling there's much more to explore when it comes to the relationship between music and mood.
I was thinking the same thing.
Earlier, you mentioned using music to help you focus. Do you think music always improves our mood?
Not necessarily. I think it depends on the situation and the type of music we're listening to.
That's an interesting point.
For example, if I'm already feeling sad, certain songs can make that feeling stronger.
I've noticed that too. Sometimes music reflects our emotions instead of changing them.
Exactly. There are moments when people intentionally choose music that matches how they're feeling.
Why do you think we do that?
Maybe because it helps us process our emotions. Listening to music that reflects our mood can make us feel understood.
I can see that. It's almost like the music is keeping us company.
That's a nice way to put it.
On the other hand, there have been times when I've chosen upbeat music specifically because I wanted to feel better.
I've done the same thing. Sometimes it works surprisingly well.
But not always.
No, not always. There are days when no playlist seems to have much effect.
That's probably because our mood is influenced by many different things.
I think so. Sleep, stress, work, and personal situations all play a role.
Which means music isn't a magic solution.
Right. But even if it doesn't completely change our mood, it can still make a difficult day feel a little easier.
That's something I've experienced many times.
Me too. Sometimes a small improvement is enough to make a difference.
I wonder if different people use music in different ways.
I think they do. Some people listen to music almost all day, while others only listen occasionally.
I'm definitely someone who listens every day.
Same here, although I've noticed my habits have changed over time.
How so?
When I was younger, I paid much more attention to discovering new music. These days, I often return to songs I already know.
That's interesting because I've moved in the opposite direction.
Really?
Yes, I still enjoy familiar songs, but I spend more time looking for new artists and playlists than I used to.
I hadn't considered that. Maybe music serves different purposes for us.
What do you mean?
For me, familiar music feels comforting. It creates a sense of stability.
That makes sense. Familiar songs can feel like old friends.
Exactly. They bring a certain feeling that I know I can rely on.
I understand that. For me, discovering new music creates excitement and curiosity.
So one approach is about comfort, while the other is about exploration.
That's probably a good summary.
Neither approach is better. They're just different ways of enjoying music.
And maybe that's part of why music is so personal.
I think you're right. We all connect with it in our own way.
Earlier, we were talking about how music can influence emotions. That reminds me of something that happened last year.
What happened?
I was having a particularly stressful week at work. Nothing was going wrong, but I felt mentally exhausted.
I know those kinds of weeks.
One evening, I went for a walk and put on a playlist I hadn't listened to in a long time.
Did it help?
More than I expected. The problems were still there, but I felt calmer by the time I got home.
That's interesting, because I've had similar experiences.
Really?
Yes. A few months ago, I was preparing for a presentation. I was nervous and kept thinking about everything that could go wrong.
That sounds stressful.
It was. The night before, I listened to some instrumental music while organizing my notes.
And what happened?
It helped me slow down. My thoughts felt less scattered, and I was able to focus on what I needed to do.
I've noticed that music can sometimes create a better mental environment.
That's a good description. It doesn't do the work for us, but it can make certain tasks feel more manageable.
Another thing I've noticed is that music often becomes part of meaningful memories.
Absolutely. There are songs I associate with trips, celebrations, and even ordinary days that became special for unexpected reasons.
It's amazing how strongly those connections can stay with us.
It really is. A song can bring back a feeling years later.
Since music affects people in so many different ways, do you think there's a right way to use it?
I don't think so. Everyone responds differently.
I feel the same way. What works for one person might not work for someone else.
That's why I think it's useful to pay attention to our own habits.
What do you mean by that?
For example, some people focus better with music, while others find it distracting.
That's true. I've met people who need complete silence when they're working.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I've also noticed that my music choices change depending on what I need.
Mine do too. If I need energy, I choose something very different from what I would listen to before bed.
That sounds familiar.
Over time, I've learned which types of music help me relax, concentrate, or improve my mood.
So part of the process is simply becoming more aware of our reactions.
I think so. The more we understand how music affects us, the easier it becomes to use it intentionally.
I like that idea because it feels practical rather than complicated.
Exactly. We don't need to analyze every song. We can simply notice how different music makes us feel.
And those small observations can tell us quite a lot.
They can. Sometimes understanding ourselves begins with paying attention to simple, everyday experiences.
Earlier, you mentioned becoming more aware of our reactions to music. I think that's one of the most interesting ideas from today's discussion.
I feel the same way. Music is something many of us experience every day, but we don't always stop to think about how it affects us.
That's true. Before this conversation, I probably took some of those effects for granted.
I can understand that. Sometimes we only notice music when a song stands out or creates a strong emotional reaction.
Looking back, I think music has played different roles in my life at different times.
What kind of roles?
Sometimes it helped me relax.
Other times it gave me energy, helped me focus, or brought back meaningful memories.
I've had similar experiences. The more we talked about it today, the more I realized how connected music is to everyday life.
And what's interesting is that there isn't one correct way to use it.
Exactly. Some people use music for concentration, some for comfort, and others simply for enjoyment.
I like that flexibility.
Me too. It means we can discover what works best for us instead of following a fixed rule.
If there's one thing I'm taking away from today's conversation, it's that paying attention to our own reactions can be surprisingly valuable.
That's probably my biggest takeaway as well. Small observations can help us understand ourselves a little better.
That feels like a good place to end today's discussion.
I think so too.
Before we finish, let's look at a few useful expressions from today's conversation.
These are all phrases that appeared naturally while we were discussing music and mood.
Our first phrasal verb is bring back.
We used it when talking about songs that bring back memories from different stages of life.
Bring back means to make us remember something from the past.
For example, that song always brings back memories of my first job.
Our second phrasal verb is slow down.
We used it when talking about music helping us relax during stressful situations.
For example, listening to calm music helped me slow down after a busy day.
Now, let's look at two useful collocations.
The first is meaningful memories.
We use this phrase when discussing memories that remain important to us over time.
The second collocation is play a role.
Earlier, we said that sleep, stress, work, and personal situations all play a role in our mood.
Play a role means to have an influence or effect on something.
These expressions are useful in conversations about emotions, experiences, habits, and everyday life.
Let's continue with a couple more useful expressions from today's episode.
These are both common in everyday English and fit nicely with our discussion about music and emotions.
The first one is an easy idiom. Take for granted.
We actually used that expression near the end of our conversation.
That's right. Emma said she sometimes took the effects of music for granted.
When we take something for granted, we don't fully appreciate it because it feels normal or familiar.
For example, I took my free weekends for granted until my schedule became much busier.
Native speakers use this expression quite often when talking about things they appreciate more now than they did in the past.
Our final expression is a soft slang phrase. In a good way.
We used it when talking about memories connected to music.
It's a very natural phrase that helps clarify a positive meaning.
For example, that movie was surprising in a good way.
Or, the new cafe was different in a good way.
Native speakers use it frequently in casual conversations when they want to emphasize that something unexpected had a positive result.
So today we've looked at bring back, slow down, meaningful memories, play a role, take for granted, and in a good way.
And all of them appeared naturally while we were talking about music and mood.
Before we finish today's episode, let's briefly revisit some of the ideas we discussed.
One thing that stood out to me was how music can bring back memories from different periods of our lives.
I enjoyed that part of the conversation too. It's amazing how certain songs remain connected to meaningful memories for years.
We also talked about how music can help us slow down during stressful moments.
That's something many listeners will probably relate to.
Another useful expression was play a role.
Right. We said that many factors play a role in our mood, including sleep, stress, work, and personal experiences.
Music is only one part of the picture, but it can still have a noticeable impact.
We also discussed how easy it is to take certain things for granted.
Including music itself. Many of us listen every day without thinking much about how it affects us.
And sometimes a song can surprise us in a good way when we least expect it.
That's one of the reasons music remains such a personal experience.
We hope you enjoyed today's conversation about how music affects your mood.
Thanks for spending time with us here at Soft English Studio.
Take care, keep listening, and keep learning.
We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.